There we go, I believe. I believe that fixes the issue I had the other day. Let me go check. Gotta open up YouTube. I'm gonna switch servers though. Find new session, closed, friend. Alright, come on, show me my stream. Okay, that's from yesterday. Alright, we're trying to do this live. Alright, sweet. Audio's working. I'm all good. I am heading on to my...
Good to see you, boss. Hello. What can I do for you?
Let's do this.
Quite a collection you've got here.
28 different garages. Oh, Jesus Christ. Does that include? I just realized they don't actually have the new 5-car garage
You're looking very sharp, boss.
as an option to order from. I wonder if that's a mistake by Rockstar. Wow. Oh, Eclipse Boulevard garage. Okay, so 37 total vehicles. Okay, so that's interesting. Wow. Okay, so I think that's kind of weird though. Like it would have been, you know, if Rockstar did like the what the hell is this thing called? The filing system, dude. They should have did this like you click on that, have garage, you know, floor, basement level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you click on those and go through the cars. Instead, they're trying to make it seem like it's one continuous 50-car garage, which is weird because it's not. It's 5 separate 10-car garages, all interconnected. The only cool feature that makes it like super unique is moving cars from one garage to another.
I've got 2 degrees, both in finance.
So I'm sitting here talking to myself until somebody actually joins and wants to hear what's going on. Right? Yeah, seems like that. Haven't made any streams or edits or anything like that in a while, so yeah, this is gonna be interesting. Let's pull up. Okay, alright. We are going to go do the time trials. I might stop by the casino and see if I have a spin. I think I did it late last night, so probably don't have a spin. But this thing is nasty as hell. I'm not driving this around like this. But I'm gonna tell you that is another thing that Rockstar needs to change and fix. There's no way that it makes any sense that you order a car to the front of your office. By the way, rich people, let's be honest. If you have some sort of valet service or or some sort of delivery service for your vehicles are going to come in pristine condition. Like, it's going to be unscratched, not a mud spot, nothing. The person driving the vehicle or delivering it, they're going to deliver it in perfect condition. This thing came out of my CEO office garage to the front of the office, right in that front space, and managed to get super dirty for no reason. Rockstar, come on, that was stupid logic. Like, nobody wants to order their car and have it disgustingly dirty. Like, it makes no sense, and it's been like this for years, and you still haven't acknowledged the issue. It's kind of wild. Really dumb decision on the design there. Like, I get that you like the idea of people having to use the car washes to actually show that it works on the cars and everything, but like, there was so many other ways to make a car dirty. Like, for example, when it rains and stuff like that, to leave little wet spots, because that's kind of what you made it look like, as if it got rained on. I think it would have been a lot smarter to use that as a reason to take your car to the car wash afterwards, you know. Stash house. That's interesting. There's a lot of new markers. G's cache. Okay, there's a time trial right there. The RC Bandito time trials right there. And HSW is all the way up here, and I'm assuming because that's all the way up there, that means that the time trial down here is going all the way up. Probably expecting me to do something weird like come through here. But follow the train tracks, hop off, come back, do that, and I'm assuming that this HSW time trial is one of those really fucking annoying ones that makes you cut across all through here. And then make it all the way across this shit, so, chances are I might not participate in that time trial. I'm not 100% sure about that. I'm really not a fan of that. I'm not a fan of these consistent off-road ones. I hate these two roads right here. I hate having to drive this stuff. It is ridiculous, pointless, and really stupid that Rockstar decided to do that for a bunch of vehicles that are made and built for the fucking road. Pointless. So I'll probably only do the one individual time trial. I actually forget, I'll do the RC Bandito. Once again, another thing, they really just Rockstar logicked a lot of this shit. Like, they had a good opportunity and made it really stupid. They make these time trials so damn stupidly designed that you literally have to do it the right way. You can scrape a damn car and you miss 2 seconds and you're screwed. But with the way that their traffic is designed, just like that, cutting in front of you, you know, being in the way consistently throughout the entire time that you're doing stuff, it's ridiculously. It just, nothing helps. So we're gonna head in here really quick. We're just gonna follow it and do it as it says to do. Unlike the other time trials, because those waypoints are ridiculous and a very large lie. You literally have to go watch a YouTube video just to figure out how to do those motherfuckers. Like, that's ridiculous. Like, somebody shouldn't have to be amazing at this shit to be able to get it complete. And I'm not saying that people should improve their skills in controlling these damn things, but this RC Bandito is so whack, like it loses control so easily. You have to let off the throttle just to do it. It'd have been cool if they would have had a gas-powered mini RC vehicle, but they don't even make them heavy enough. They make them like they're little feathers. Like, these things are light little plastic toys, and It's kind of ignorant, to be honest with you, and I totally screwed that up. Alright, we're gonna have to restart that. 51. 10 minutes, and then I have to take care of something really quick, and then I'm going to... See, once you do it once, you can kind of get the hang of doing it again. I'm doing it a little better the next time. So typically, I'll always run through these at least twice. I try to get it done on the first go, but you know, if I make that mistake, then... Or if I make a serious enough mistake that I know that there's no going back, then I'm not going to go back and do it again. Yeah, that was completely out of my control. Make a light. Excuse me. Yep, this is the end. And bam, twice. Okay, 101,000. That's not bad. Some of those time trials are really good with their payouts too. Some of them are worth it. Like depending on the path that it'll give you. Because like the regular time trial, like one of the best ways to do it is with a motorcycle. I've done those plenty of times. I mean, to be honest, both of them are easiestly done with a motorcycle because the motorcycles are more controllable and that work better off road. But I just never took the time to. Well, I just haven't ever saved up enough money to purchase the HSW Hakachi Drag. Here it is, sprinkling a little bit. This would be a good time to let the car get a little dirty from water spots after the sun starts to dry it off, you know? It just makes sense. So I've been working kind of hard on this on this garage setup. I have these 3 office garages, and these are probably some of my staple garages. I put some of the fanciest cars in here. I recently just had 2 levels, or 2 of the, yeah, what do you call it? Yeah, level 1 and level 2 were all hypercars or like exotics. And then the 3rd garage was pretty consistently muscle cars. Like it had a few modern muscle cars in there, and then older ones, and then they kind of just added more and more over the period of time that the game's been going. And I have just kind of filtered out some of the modern muscle cars that they had, like the Gauntlet and and the Hellfire and all that. Kind of filtered them out, and it became a full classic muscle car garage. Uh, And then with this past DLC, they just last Thursday added in the 50 car garage, and I moved all of my muscle cars, including ones that weren't even able to fit into the 20 car garage, all over to the 50 car garage, and I've filled up 30, nearly 30 spots full of classic American muscle cars. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Alright, here we go. That took just a second. I'm probably going to step away again for just a moment after this. Oh, little audio overlay. Oh, no. Okay, so yeah, I really wanted to talk about cars. I'm just really trying to pay respects to my own collection, my own garage, you know, because this game isn't easy when it comes to collecting cars, and especially if you've got a very large collection. A lot of people like to say, you know, oh, well, you don't have to have 300 cars to have a collection and all that, and that's true, but some of us just like having the different varieties of cars, and I have nearly one of almost every car in this game. Chances are, if you're looking at the website, I probably own, or I'm close to owning one of everything. Like, pretty close. Like, everything you see right here on this front screen, right here in front of me, I have except for the M100, which I'm currently actually waiting to purchase once I get enough money to do so, but I'm also waiting till the end of the DLC just in case there's another vehicle that's going to have a limited time, because there are a couple more vehicles that I want out of the DLC that are also coming out, and so I'm going to save back up a couple $1,000,000, and then I'm going to hold on to that until after this DLC ends. Or, you know, the next vehicle, if I want it and it's limited time, then I'm going to purchase that, save up, and try to do, you know, do the same thing and make sure I'm set there until the end. But but yeah, I own quite a few of these cars. It's pretty great, actually, owning a lot of these. Um, because, you know, I have everything I could ever ask for. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. Alright, cool. So, anyways, though, as I was saying, uh, my collection started back in 2015 and has been growing and building ever since. I have played this game since 2014. Of course, I started playing online on another profile, and I started fresh with this account on PlayStation 3, and I transferred over to PS4 after a little while. I ended up on PS4 in about well, man, I started playing on PS4 somewhere in 2015 as well. So, yeah, um, I transferred over pretty soon. Okay, no. 2016 was when I got, okay, so, Christmas of 2015, I got my PS4, and I, transferred my character over and continued on, and I have been doing that all the way until 2021. Christmas of 2021, a couple days after Christmas, I actually bought myself a PS5, and I transferred my character and everything over once again, and I've continued the collection. And so now, you know, we're in fidelity mode with the lovely reflections and just amazing details to all these cars. But right here we have a Ferrari, as you can see. This is the Grady GT500. I believe it is a Ferrari 250. Very, very cool car. Some more versions of it. These were also titled like the 250. I believe that's a 250 GTO. Stingers. This one's just like a concept version of the GTO being topless. I think they actually made one or made two of them or something like that. I do put Ferrari as the license plates on all of these. I do not have the ability to put license like custom plates anymore currently, thanks to iFordat being taken down and some issues with Rockstar in my account. Um, but as soon as they make another way to do that, I'm probably going to continue the idea of putting custom plates for as long as I can afford to do so. Uh, it's really kind of terrible because I spent $3 million on 30 different plates, and yeah, they're not available anymore. And there's been a few cars that have come out since then. You have this thing. This thing's really nice. Like, and I love the way they did the engine back there. It's really cool. The Testarossa. Now this car, when this thing came in the game, it took me straight back to the old GTA's, you know, Vice City and GTA San Andreas. They really made a big deal out of this car. This was one of the big supercars in the game back then, and it's just so cool to see it next to, you know, like both of these vehicles. It's so cool to see them next to all these modernized, like, sportier cars, just like this one at the end here. You know, it's gone from this to that, and in that time, it's been crazy. Um, I'm gonna go ahead and move on to this one. We got the F40. Um, a lot of these cars I try to do custom colors with. I believe this one's a custom yellow. This isn't like a race yellow. I could be, but I'm not 100% sure. I know I didn't redo a lot of these just because Ferraris typically stick with the, you know, the red, yellow, white, black kind of color scheme. They have a few blues and greens in their color palette, but a lot of their cars stick within the red and yellow color spectrum. Um, but yeah, so I've got a red Ferrari F40. Try to keep it realistic and simple. Something that kind of pay respects to the actual, you know, multi-million-dollar car. It's a pretty interesting engine cover there. That looks like a aluminum, yeah, like almost like a foil sitting on top of there. It looks like a toy car from this angle. I'm not, to be completely honest. Like, it looks like you're looking at a toy piece. Kind of realistic looking though. Weirdly enough, that's kind of cool. We have the kind of like a California T, I would say. Like, yeah, it's like a Ferrari California inspired car. It's got the tail end of like a, I would say, like a Zagato, like the Aston Martin V12 Zagato. Like the taillight design is kind of based off of that, but it's pretty cool. Definitely gives off a Ferrari vibe for sure, though. Thing and then the blue color on there is custom. It's a non-in-game color. I do try to keep up with custom colors as much as possible, and you will definitely see that throughout some of this. I'm gonna go ahead and take a quick little walk through all these, and I'm just gonna be quiet for just a moment. Okay. Alright, I'm back for a moment. So this car right here has got a custom color. As you've seen a couple of the custom colors, I got that minty green, or different type of mint, I guess. Um, it's kind of interesting, weirdly enough. They're not organized in the order, but lightest, second lightest, and then the darkest. But this is supposed to be the emerald green, a very rare color that is on the Ferrari Enzo, which I kind of took this car as. It's to be honest, it's one of those cars that Rockstar went completely wild with. Took inspiration from an Enzo and a couple other cars and kind of smashed it all together. And it's not enough of one car to really give it a title, but I kind of just slapped it in here just because it's a Grotti vehicle. Um, I think that they definitely could have done a better job with this car, and they should have, and they were too afraid to. Back then, they were too afraid to get close enough to the actual vehicles, because they were afraid of car companies, suing them and, doing all the big money stealing business stuff. So, yeah, so it's kind of, I don't know, I kind of understand that Rockstar really took Rockstar really took a lot of creativity with this car, but I'm not a big fan of the full design of this thing. I kind of think it's acceptable, but it's still ugly in so many ways. And the back end, you've got a GTA Spano, um, and then you have, like I said, like the Ferrari kind of inspired front end. But I just I just really don't like it as much as some people do. But this car, on the other hand, this one is a lot closer to the actual SF90. And of course, because lately Ferrari's been throwing out a lot of cars that are um inspired by the 458 chassis. Um, the 458 kind of just launched everything after that, and so you see a lot of these looks and designs that kind of resemble the 458 quite a bit. Although there's definitely a lot of stuff to this car that could, I mean, they definitely need a 458 in GTA for sure. Like, they just need an actual 458 inspired vehicle. Um, and a better LaFerrari inspired vehicle than this thing. But, yeah, but that was back, like, these two cars right here were thrown in GTA back when it was in its early stages, and they were just kind of testing the waters with car designs. But then they really got out there, though. They really did. They really got out there, and they built some pretty cool ones. So, like an F8 Tributo SF90 kind of designed car. This is a Ferrari concept car. It is the Exiri, I believe. The Ferrari Exiri. It's a pretty interesting car. I tried to put a color on it that would suit the body very well, and I think I did a pretty good job. A lot of, like I said, these are custom colors. The emerald green, that green, and then there's this one right here, which is actually one of my newer colors that I just recently did. And once again, I was just trying to find something that would suit the car very well. Would be a little more unique instead of a standard paint job. I had to put the stock wheels back on there. I had different wheels on there prior to this, but just for the white outline, I really do think that helps add to the vehicle. So you got the white interior, the white wheel outline, and that little pinstripe that goes across the body right there and down the side right above the side skirts. Pretty cool looking car. This is based on the Ferrari F80, although the F80 is a lot more smooth. Closer to like this kind of design, as you can see, like how smooth that is. The actual F80 concept car doesn't have as many jagged and sharp lines like this one does. This one's got so much sharpness to it. But it looks very aggressive, and I think it's a very cool car, and it was the first of its kind to have that, like, race car sound effect to it. Like, really raw exhaust. Sound in the game, and I like that. I like that it started that for the game, and there's a few other cars in the game now that have that actually exact same sound file, which is kind of annoying, but it works. This one, yeah, so this was taken, this is a green. Of course, you can see it very differently outside than you can inside, but it's, yeah, this is supposed to be the Pininfarina Battista. Originally when it came in the game, you know, it had that Grotti badge on it. Um, I actually thought that this was supposed to be like the F8 Tributo and SF90 kind of inspired car, and then when they released the other one, I really dug into the lines. Um, so, Pininfarina Battista, the actual front light right here, this little bar lights up. And that was what kind of gave it away for that design, and I completely changed what I'd seen and thought about this car. Then you have and more custom colors, by the way. Yeah, these are all custom except for the white right there. Um, you have the Koenigsegg. It's more like a CCR or a CCX, you know, like an older CC generation of Koenigsegg. I try to do something interesting with it. Make it look a little aggressive. It's got a lot of carbon fiber, so I figured, you know, hypercar, high-end carbon fiber, that's kind of the way to go. Yeah. Um, you know, I honestly wish they had carbon mesh on here. I wish that mesh right there was like carbon fiber to match everything else. Same thing with the back and the front. That would be a really interesting thing to do. But, yeah, so you've got this, like, really interesting pink color on here that's, I don't know, something I just tried to do to be different. Same thing with this. This is just an orange color that I came up with and kind of tossed on there. Uh, got the carbon wheels on there. Didn't do anything too crazy with it. Tried to keep it simple. I didn't want a massive wing on there, but I really like the way that orange pops with the carbon. It's a really good combination. Once again, I would like, okay, the carbon on there is very small weave compared to a lot of the other carbon on this car, but I like that. I like these carbon color covers back here over those back there. But yeah, this one is a Koenigsegg Agera. You can kind of see it in the rear end. When this first came out, when this was out, everybody thought this was the Agera. Or Azura, as some people might say. But when this one came out, it was originally thought, well, if this one's the Agera, then this one's the Regera. But then when you really take a second look at it and realize, well, this one's a little more boxy. If you go back to the back end, tail end, you see the like tail lights. There's triplets. It's three different lights that light up. And when you really think about that, that sounds like the CC generation of Koenigsegg, because they did the round lights on the Agera, and these kind of represent those style lights. And then moving on from that, you have the Yesco. And there's not much to say about this thing. I mean, it's got the wheels on there are really nice and cool. Like, I really like these wheels. I like the blackness and the carbon. If you really look, there's carbon all around the barrel, which is amazing. And these are stock wheels. They do the custom color on the inside parts of the wheels, which is something that just doesn't happen a lot on this game. Because normally when you color the wheel, it's the whole wheel, unless it's like a carbon wheel or something, which that's actually what this is. It's a fully carbon fiber wheel. Then you have the gold little winglet down there. I decided to do a custom purple. I had tried 4 different versions of this color, and this was one that stuck. This was one that really gave it that look. And I'm really enjoying it, and I tossed on a lot of carbon on there to kind of go with the car, because that's kind of what you expect. It's practically a fully carbon car. I decided to go a little more aggressive with the wing and keep that Yesco inspired wing. You've got the carbon with the purple back end and the golden highlights on the winglets. But yeah, this is my version of the Yesco. That's my spec'd out build. Then, of course, the infamous Devil 16, the car that's still not released yet. Nobody owns one. To be honest, it seems like it's never gonna really exist out in a public space. So yeah, it's a crazy car, but it's just not happening. But it's really cool to see it in the game. I got a little bit of carbon here and there, carbon splitter or diffuser, carbon wing, type of carbon front splitter, standard rooftop, no carbon there. I think it does have carbon, it's just that's a livery. But yeah, this thing, once again, I think those are stock wheels. They're just colored. I just preferred those over everything else, and it just looks really good on the car. I mean, it's realistic. This thing is honestly one of my favorite cars in the game. Not for speed, not for performance, but for looks. I think the Hennessy Venom F5 is an amazing car. I can't wait to actually, see those things at big car events that aren't like just from Hennessy themselves. They need to really start letting customers get their vehicles. Like, there's a lot of people who pay for them. I don't know if anybody's actually got one of their own yet. I would assume, because they've had a couple finished ones that they've shown around, so I would assume that there's a chance that they already have them out. Just don't really hear about it much. This is supposed to be the car that takes the world record, over 300 miles an hour. And right now that one's kind of confusing because Bugatti's hit over 300 officially. Koenigsegg hit like somewhere close to 300, so it's really all over the place right now. It looks like Hennessy, Koenigsegg, and Bugatti are all trying to go for and hold that world record for the top speed, which is insane. Like, I mean, cars just really don't need to be that fast, and at this point, it's like every time they make a faster car and a car that goes almost 300, it's like cars that hit 200 were insane at one point. Cars that hit 100 miles an hour, way back before most of our lifetimes, was insane. And to think that, hitting 200 was a crazy, milestone, but then 270, I believe it was like 268, 269, miles an hour for the Bugatti Veyron, right? Somewhere close there, anywhere between 268 and I think 272 was like the big numbers that were just kind of thrown out there. But that car, the Veyron, varied between those speeds, and that thing was insanely fast for a very long period of time until the Hennessy Venom took its place. The Venom GT, of course, which also needs to be in this game. They really need to release another Cheval, or Cheval, whatever you want to call it. They need to do a Cheval and make it the Hennessy Venom GT. That would be really sick to see in the game. Because we've got some other Lotus-inspired vehicles in the game, so there's definitely no issue with them doing any of that. Oh, shit. Okay, so, anyways, the gold color on here I came up with, something I really do gotta complain about. I know, like, nobody likes to hear complaining, but I'm sure everybody can agree on this. Rockstar should do an update or do this in the next game, or, I really don't want to see them make another version of GT Online. I don't want to see another GT Online. I want to see a continuation. I want to be able to transfer my character over, call in cars that I already have, and use those, and do stuff like that. Like, that would be cool. That would be fun. But, on this game, I would still really appreciate it. It would help with my car customization is if they would separate primary pearlescent and secondary pearlescent instead of doing a singular pearlescent for the entire car. It would really help. Because, I mean, as you can see, you get that little golden kind of brownish color on these pieces, and it's just not what I'm necessarily going for. I'm going for this look, what you see from this angle, that blacked out, menacing look, I like this gold with the black. If I could, I would just make that pure carbon. Make that all pure carbon. Make it go with the carbon wing. Same with these little side panels. The little vent guard things. I would make those carbon. Hell, even my front bumpers, or front splitters, also not even carbon. It's that brownish color all the way throughout the car. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of improvements Rockstar could have done in a lot of these DLCs that they've been kind of slacking on and ignoring. I'm hoping that eventually it becomes a new player-friendly feature, but until then, yeah, it kind of sucks. Right here we have the Pagani Huayra. There's been so many arguments and fights about what this thing's inspired off of, and some people used to try to say this was Ferrari and all kinds of stuff. But I mean, if you really know your cars well enough and you take a good look at this thing is a Pagani Huayra. They really need a version of the Zonda. Toss them into the Pegassi, although it should have been its own brand. I understand that they just kind of threw Italian cars together. And I mean, it works. It works. It works. Yeah, so this one, I had to go with these wheels. I was trying to do just some of the most interesting wheels I could that would suit the Pagani. And these were the closest thing to something that you would see on a real Pagani. So I went with those. And to be honest, I haven't had anybody complain. I've had a lot of people tell me they like them, and I do also. So yeah, we've been in this first garage for quite a while. I'm probably just going to go through my CEO office garages in this video. Just because I've already done this before. I've done a lot of these videos. I like doing these types of videos. I like, updating my collection on YouTube. I just love sharing it. I love showing what I've done on this game over the past several years. It feels like it's more important than nothing, because I don't know. I'm considering starting a whole new channel and basing it off of cars. I play the Crew 2, I've played through the Crew 1. I have everything on both of those games. Um, I play GTA specifically for cars. I don't play any of the Need for Speed games anymore. I do have Heat, and I occasionally get on there. I can make videos on there. I have a set of Corsa, but I haven't played that because my wheel setup is kind of complicated right now. But yeah. So I have a lot of car games, and a lot of those games I have a lot of stuff, but I just don't do anything with it. And I'm kind of thinking about really taking a deep dive into the Crew game, the Crew 2, the new Motorfest game that's coming out. And GTA, I want to continue to build up GTA. I want to do a lot more with it. I'm really hoping to get really deep into doing car meets because I've built Fresh, which is um a car meet group on here, and I'm still working on it. I'm still trying to find people who really want to build it up because I'm a part of a really big community of car people called the Lowly Gentlemen, TLG for short. It has been a fun road. I've been with them since I started playing on this account, and way back then. The second I got on PS4, I tried to get in that crew because there was a few YouTube videos out there that really promoted that crew, and they were getting really big next to High Boost Racing Club, or yeah, I believe High Boost, something High Boost or whatever. It was an Xbox exclusive crew, and I was on PlayStation, so I was trying to find something like that, and I found TLG, and they ended up being one of the biggest inspirations for hundreds of other crews. And I mean, hell, if you watch this video, there's a chance you know who Hella Flush is, um, because he creates car content. That guy came from TLG. That guy is the biggest GTA automotive creator out there that I know. I mean, there's like Digital Car Addict and to be honest, I feel like that's really it. It's Digital Car Addict and Hella Flush. Those two guys are the guys to go to when it comes to GTA car stuff, and I kind of want to be up there with them. I want to work on that. Just because but I don't want to just be exclusive to GTA because I know that other games exist, other games are out there. So I'm thinking about expanding my idea to being a video game, like a car video game creator. So you have the lovely 69 on there, with the Marlboro inspired redwood livery. You get the Progen. So these are McLarens. I decided to try to toss some British cars in here. Um, yeah, it's just something else. Yeah, you got McLaren. Very nice bodies. They definitely need to add a few more of these kind of cars in the game. Um, I would actually really like it if they did, because now that I have extra space in the next garage, I would love to see more McLaren. Um, they actually have more Aston Martins and, well, I'm trying to think of what's another British car company they have in this game. It's really just Aston Martin. They have Mini, but Mini's only got a couple variants. Um, yeah, no, definitely. But even then, Aston Martin being a car company that's British, the next biggest, the two biggest British car companies are definitely, like, when it comes to high end sports cars, not cause, like, Mini Coopers everywhere. Like, everybody's got a damn Mini Cooper for some reason. Um, but McLaren and Aston Martin are probably some of the two top highest respected British, supercar companies there is. And I mean, there's nobody else that really even does anything like them. Um, yeah. So, anyways, though, they definitely need more than just, you know, one, two, three, four, five different models, and then an upgraded version that can become a race car variant of one of them. Like, I think that is that is ridiculous if that's all we got so far. So, yeah. We have the McLaren F1 Longtail. I tried to inspire it off of the real race car. We got a couple McLaren race cars. I don't typically have a lot of race car builds in this game, so these ones are really unique for most of my garages. You have a regular F1. And, yeah, I decided to try to go with the custom color for this. That one also has a custom color on it. This one does. I wanted to do something other than the basic silver, white, orange, black, you know. I wanted to do, I mean, there's two different variants of the McLaren. You know, there's the bright LM orange, then there is the actual McLaren branded orange, that has that, like, pearlescent color on it. And I don't know, I just didn't want to do that. I didn't want to do, and it was a darker green, but I wanted to go with something a little more smooth, and there's actually a McLaren out there that has a similar color to this, so I thought, you know, why the heck not? Why not give it my own little twist? And I put the stock wheels back on there. I used to have, like, the LM wheels, but I thought about going clean again, and I just went back to the original. McLaren P1, of course, tried to do the wheels as close to the real ones as possible. I just did solid white. I'm still trying to think about doing another custom color on this. I really want to make sure it fits it very well. Of course, I can't do a pearlescent on this because the pearlescent affects the side, and it's really bad to a point that, you know, I wish I could make that carbon, this little black inlet piece right here. But you can't, so we're kind of stuck with that. We're kind of stuck with the, doing a solid color until they change that. I really wish we could change this metal piece right here too. I'd make that carbon, or, you know, yeah, probably make that carbon. But yeah, it's got McLaren P1. This one's also got McLaren F1, and then the rest of them have McLaren on them. You can't really see it in the lighting in here, but yeah, it says F1. And then, yeah, McLaren. Full on McLaren. This one, Rockstar really messed this up. So they made the tires really weird. The suspension is horrible on this thing. It should be able to go lower. And then, of course, this was one of the cars that you can't stance. Like, if you know what I'm talking about, shoot the wheels, make it drop, kind of suspension glitch. They made it to where you couldn't do that with this car. And so it's literally just annoyingly incapable of being lowered to a preferred height. As well as those front wheels being a little small, I'm not gonna lie. Like, that front wheel bed, like, I don't know if anybody else feels like that, but the underlining, like where the fender is underneath the fender, it's just too open, too much space in there. I would say that's, you know, although I'm sure there's air benefits to stuff like that. Actually, to be honest, I think the air would pull in there and actually kind of hurt the car, like hurt its speed, if anything. I think you would want something to kind of direct the air around the wheel and, you know, through the side, through the back, and create downforce, right? Like, that's what you would want it to do. But with this design, it looks like that air would catch through that little hole right there, go inside and start hitting against the tire and slowing it down. But, so far, this does look like a Senna I really appreciated them trying to add in a McLaren Senna. There's a couple other McLarens out there that are really special, really unique. You know, Speedtail, um, just one of them. The MP412C would be really nice to see in the game. But yeah, definitely. Pretty cool. If they did do a Benny's version of this, they could do what they did to that car to this car and make a P1 GTR, and that would be really cool. But, you know, just my brain. I'm sure somebody would agree with that. Then you have Aston Martin. You have the JB700 in the game, I believe. Yeah, JB700W. This is the actual working weaponized version, but I bought it literally for well over $1 million just to take off the weapons and make it look like the actual James Bond car, like the standard car. And I really do like it. It's got the Aston Martin plates on it. I tried to build it like the actual DB5 and make it look like a legit car. This is the Aston Martin V8. I believe this is the V8 Vantage. Yeah, this is like the 1970 version or whatever, the V8 Vantage. I gave it, you know, they used muscle car tires on this. This thing was the British muscle car. It's weird that they have, I think, what does this say? Oh, no, nothing. I thought it said V12 on the side. Or V12 somewhere on the car. I say, because this thing is a V8. They didn't do the V12s until later. Yeah, custom green. I know this one's wild. I like the roof down. I don't really like that top on, but for some reason it's up. There's not much to say about this. I've tried multiple colors on this. I'll be honest, this thing just looks like an ugly car. It really does. It's just got too many, like, deformed features. Like, the front end drops, like, really quick. If you can see that. Almost like a Porsche kind of thing. But it's, like, really long in this section and then just has a nosedive. I don't really like that so much. I like a very gradual kind of drop, more like this. Like, this has kind of got a curve from the beginning and then drops down. Like, it's got that consistency. Same thing with this. It's consistent. It's just a straight long drop. While this one is kind of long, and then once it gets past this little bump right here, it just drops down immediately. And I mean, hell, even that car, the Masakura or whatever, Masakura, even that car has a similar kind of drop to this one, but it's just slightly better done. That it looks better on that car than it does this one. Yeah, I think that the way they did, I like the headlights. I think they could have done it a little bit better. The front little grill, like the little grill, could have been done better. I think that's kind of ugly. And the hood for sure could have been done better. That lump up there just looks kind of stupid the way that it's built. I think if they would have raised the front end just a little bit and just let you put a little bit thicker of a front splitter on there, then it would have come out looking a lot better. But yeah, I don't know. I tried to do my best with that car. I mean, it's acceptable. I can drive it. It's just one of the uglier cars that Rockstar's done. This thing's pretty decent looking. Like I said, they made this one a little bit better. They kind of had a pretty steep drop, but they had it pretty consistently from the top of the hood to the bottom. They didn't have a straight longer end, so I kind of like this a lot better. The front grille piece looks really nice. The bottom part has a really nice design to it. It's not flat or anything. Body lines look really great. They kind of share some similarities when it comes to the lines. Tail end, definitely very similar, which I like that tail end. I do like this tail, and I also do like this rear end as well. I do like the rear end of this car. Very Aston Martin. I really love this. This gives off the, the Vantage and the Vanquish kind of vibes. This is supposed to be the Vanquish. I would say that the grumbly, mean, deep noise isn't so much of a Vanquish. Maybe an older Vanquish, but not like a newer one because they have the V12s. So they don't have that like lower grumble to them. So yeah, so I would assume that that's what this is based on, is an older Vanquish. The DB10, which for some reason a lot of people didn't even know existed until but back when this car was released in the game, not a lot of people watched James Bond like 007 Spectre. But even then, this car had appeared in, I believe it was the DB10, if not a DB11, appearing in a Transformers movie as well. But this thing is a pretty badass looking car. I really love the way that they designed this car, and I love the way that they kind of went with it after that, because it led to some of the modern designs that they're doing now, and even actually kind of pushed them in the direction towards the Valkyrie, which is really cool because it came out as just a Red Bull, you know, Red Bull Aston Martin. Um, Fucking yeah, the crazy car. Anyways though, I did put some Benny's wheels on this one. I thought that these would just really kind of go with the build. It's wide body. It's got a bolt-on side skirt. I just wanted it to be really smooth. Um, Yeah, it's a pretty. I used to have this thing built up as a race car. Then I did this color on it, and I think this is a custom color with a pink pearlescent on top, if I'm not wrong. Um, I think it looks really good. I kind of take like a candy apple kind of, like candy kind of paint from this, and I really like that because it's really hard to get a lot of cars in this game looking candy-ish. So I love the way this looks from certain angles, like this angle right here, just seeing that little pearlescent glow, it's nice. When you look at it from other angles like this, that pearlescent's too much, it's too much pink. Back here it's too much pink, but in the sunlight and the right lighting, it looks amazing. That right there looks just gorgeous, and I wish that was the entire car all the time. But it does look good. And then I have the non-Benny's upgraded version. Built just like the James Bond 007 Spectre movie. You got the tinted windows, which it probably should take off the tints, to be honest. But yeah, I built it pretty much as close as I could get to that movie. So the wheels, everything are inspired from the movie. Then you have what is it called? The 770, the 177. Really weird that they just, 770 if you put that, yeah, really cool. There's not much to say about this. This is a custom blue, with a regular in-game blue pearlescent on top of it. I just recently did this. Yeah, I mean it's supposed to be the Aston Martin 177, the 177. I wish they would do an updated version. I really wish Rockstar would just delete some of these and then re-add in like new versions of the models, because they've been adding in cars that look exactly like the real life cars, down to a T. Taillights, headlights, everything is realistic, but the badging is different, and they have like micro details, like certain options, build options that will make it look less like, but stuff that people haven't designed in real life, but Rockstar created for themselves to do a custom version, which I like. I like the idea of that. Um, but yeah, I find it really cool. I mean, it's an interesting car still, even though it doesn't. It's got too much Ferrari inspiration in the front end. Up here, onto the last couple Aston Martins. This is the Valkyrie. I have kept this thing concept color since it came out on the game and since I've seen it. I was watching the live stream when they revealed this car, and they were calling it I believe it was the AMRB 700 or something of the sort, right? It was, or 001. Sorry, it was the Aston Martin Red Bull 001 concept car, and then it was named the Valkyrie after a few months, and this was just what the concept tub and everything looked like. It was the silver with the yellow highlights, and I really fell in love with it. I fell in love with the look, fell in love with the car. There's some blue ones out there that look really cool. They did a full yellow one that I really, really liked. And then they took some of those colors and they added them onto the new Vantage, I believe. And the Vantage actually is inspired a lot by this car. It's got a lot of these open airflow bottom ends and really hypercar designs added to it. And it's really cool to see what they're really doing with a lot of these cars over at Aston Martin. Then you have this one, which is a newer, almost like their new muscle car. It's really, really sick. Once again, it's just another concept car that they've kind of built and showed off, and I would think that this is probably one of the coolest ones that they've done, though. I really love the modern muscly look. Like, this kind of does a lot better than a lot of modern American muscle cars. I would say that front end is a little extra long, but I feel like they're putting a lot of stuff in there. So you got your engine and transmission and everything packed in there, and it's kind of lowered to the ground. So I can see why they would stretch it out a bit to add for more. It definitely seems like a really aggressive and really fun car, for sure. It's probably good on a track, to be honest. Some more custom colors. Bugatti, jumping straight out of Britain, straight over into French cars. Yeah, I mean, what's there to say about this thing? If you don't know what this is a Type 57 SC Atlantic. Bugatti, of course. I really, really, really love the look of this car and the design, and this color actually came from an actual Bugatti. But this color wasn't on the SC Atlantic, it was actually on a Bugatti Chiron. And so I took the color and I tossed it on here, and I thought it looked really good. And you're going to see this exact same color again at the end over there, but it's going to look a little bit different because the pearlescent and everything's done differently. I tried to do something interesting with this. I really dislike the way that Rockstar did this. They did this. They did it back in the early stages. So back when Rockstar first, released some cars in the game, this was a car that was in the game. I believe the adder was actually in from day one. If not, it was like the first DLC or one of the first. Back when they would release like 5 cars for the DLC, now they release like 12. But yeah. So I had to do something different with this. I put some very high-end hypercar designed wheels on there, something that would definitely go on a Bugatti. Um, the colors out there. To be honest, the white wheels, I kind of just took inspiration from seeing a lot of people put white wheels on their high-end cars nowadays, and I mean, it's a video game, so it's not realistic. I'm not gonna have to clean them all the times, you know. Uh, Not a big issue. Um, the the color, the thing that they really messed up on was the multicolors. They should have did the entire hood as a an option. This whole front end basically, like that whole curve, like from the windshield, this whole curve all the way down to down there should have all been separated with color. And they should have done the same. I would say, if not do just the hood, do the roof, or make the roof as an option between secondary and primary colors. Same thing with back here. I would have done this section and this section as a separate color. So I think what would have really worked is if they would have just given you different color, or update this car and add liveries to it. So like you can have something cover up this and the front end of the car and separate it from the roof and the back end of the car. Because yeah, I would have done the hood one color. I would have done the side skirts and everything else, or like another color. Or I would have done this whole front end, the whole hood, the whole side, all the way up through this little C, like this loop that curves back around. I would have done all of that one singular color, then done the roof and the back end a whole other color. But Rockstar didn't give us that option, so you know it kind of sucks. But it's still a cool car. It's nice to have a Veyron. You can definitely see how outdated it is, and how much that thing looks like the actual car compared to a lot of the other ones. Like this thing looks so much more like a Chiron, and that does look like a Veyron. But yeah, yeah, it's crazy. This is my Chiron. Yep, it's got the Bugatti on there. There's not much to say about it. It's a custom color, of course. All of these are custom colors, except for, well, not this one's not. But that, and the last car have custom colors on them. And yeah, I mean, this thing looks different in the sunlight. It looks different in the dark. It really changes its appearance, but I love the way it looks in general. It never ends up being bad looking. Um, what's there to say? The Vision Gran Turismo version of the Chiron. I mean, you know, Bugatti Chiron VGT. Pretty cool car. It works. It runs. It's fast. Um, I don't drive it very much. Once again, I'm not a big person to make a lot of my cars race cars, but I have the variants. And I kind of just stick with it. I deal with it. This thing, the Devo slash Bugatti Lavatoire Noir. You know, the French name for the Black Knight. Um, or well, Black Car, Black Knight. Yeah. But yeah, this thing, I like the way that they did this. See, this is the separate color stuff that I was talking about that car needed. So you got this cover right here that's silver. Love the way that looks with the painted engine covers. And then you've got like that silver stripe. This thing's just got it all. This thing is Rockstar's way of fixing the mistakes that thing had. Definitely, because even this thing had mistakes. Not as many. It did have, as you can see, like how it's got the two-tone color option. That actually does have a similar option to it, like a build. So, Yeah, Rockstar definitely did a really good job on separating those colors and doing it the way that they should have done it originally with that car. Not to mention the wing back here not working was a big disappointment. You know, because the real car does have a working spoiler like that. Okay, so that's 2 garages down. And the final few cars that you guys are going to get to see today, well, I just wanted to kind of run through a couple garages and talk about some stuff. God, this game just gets more and more beautiful. That's insane. Like, you could turn off the HUD, take a screenshot of that, and say, like, you were actually in a building in a city or something, taking a picture of this, and people might believe that. Like, legit, that's pretty crazy. GTA's could have really come far. I'm happy for Rockstar for doing that. Like, there's a lot of messed up Rockstar logic, but there's also a lot of good stuff that kind of came out of this. So the final garage consists of some unique, wild supercars. And hypercars, of course. The SSC Tuatara, aka the Zeno. This thing is something else, a crazy car design. I love the stock wheels, the two-tone color in there, where it's got those blue vents. I love that. That's amazing. There's really not too much to say about it. I mean, it's just an extreme badass car. Pearlescent issues, of course. As you've seen with the wing back here, when I go across, you'll see it. That blue right there. That is an issue. This thing. So the actual car is like the P something P21. I don't know what it is. It's like P something, but it is a like one-off car. Well, not one-off car, but like a car design that it's really insane. I think it's got like a V12 in it. But it's a crazy hypercar. It took me a while to buy this one in the game, but I definitely love the way that it looks, though. I kept the stock wheels because the stock wheels look like the real life wheels for the car, and they just work. They're chrome, or they're actually a really good color, not like the shitty plasticky looking stock wheels that Rockstar normally does. So yeah, really like that. You have the Apollo. I always want to say Gumpert because Gumpert Apollo was, you know, the company was originally Gumpert. They had the Gumpert Apollo, and then they had the after that the company kicked up, you know, the owner out and stuck with Apollo. Switched over and they branded Apollo, and then Apollo Aero came out, and that's what this is. This is the Apollo Aero. It's not the IE. It's very similar to the IE in some ways, but the IE is a little bit more sharp in the front end. This is the Apollo Aero. And it is pretty sick, to be honest. I mean, it's a really big car, both in real life and in the game, so yeah, when people say this is a big boy, it really is. Then you have the, I believe this is the Ital Design Zero Uno. Zeruso, yeah. This is, yeah, the Zero Uno. So it's a pretty cool car. Wheels look nice. It's got that little stripe. I like the stock wheels on here. This is a custom color. It looks greenish right here, but it's actually like a pastel yellow color. Once it's outside, it looks crazy. Then you have the Vice or Neo. That is the... What is the car? Spiker C8 Aileron. That is what this is. The Spiker. Okay. The wheels kind of reminded me about it. The airplane design, because Spiker was an airplane. I believe they worked on airplanes, or where they built them. There was airplanes or something of the sort. They were designing like airplane engines or something like that. And they got into designing cars. And so this wheel design's like based on like turbines, you know, like a jet turbine. The vents and everything like that were all airplane inspired. Same thing with like a Pagani. A Pagani has a lot of aerial inspiration. Just like the Koenigseggs, the Ghost. It's really weird how a lot of cars have a lot to do with air and planes and jets and things. It's really cool though. I really did. I disliked this car when it first came out. I hated the tail end. I hated that light. I wanted it to be like a full circle or just a solid line. I didn't like the droop. But I'll tell you right now, it's kind of grown on me. I mean, it hasn't been a car that I've driven that much, but it is a car that I have come to deal with and like a lot more than I did in the past. But yeah. The Reaper. Oh man, what do we got to say about this? So there's like fucking 3 different car designs tossed into this thing. There's very slight Lamborghini inspiration. There is inspiration from the what is the concept car called? The Vader, I believe. Yeah, the Vader has some design pieces that are just sprinkled in here, but the majority of the car and the main focus of the car is the come on, it was in Dubai, the Lycan Hypersport. There you go. I don't know why I can't get to the name quickly enough, but Lycan Hypersport. There you go. Yeah, so this is like I would claim it as the Lycan, but it's an interesting car. I did a custom gray on there. As you can see, I've got several custom colors down there, by the way. I've got 1, 2, I believe that one's custom orange, if not in-game orange. That one's definitely custom yellow, and I just did that gray the other day, and it's slightly in between a couple grays we already have in the game. This one's an in-game color. These are like those SCC, you know, race cars, not SCC, but, is it SSC or SCC, or, I don't know, it might have a different name for them now, but it's like the kit cars, kind of. That's what this thing, like, started out as. It's pretty cool. Overflawed auto arc, I like that thing. The Alpine, this is the A110. This is the new car in the game that's only available until the 22nd of February. It's 2.1 million. I mean, it looks a lot like the Alpine, and there's a lot of customization you can do if you're going for that, like, white with the carbon hood Alpine, or the blue, you know, the solid blue with the carbon hood, and the little wing. They didn't. One of the things I'm really disappointed about is they didn't have a carbon fin option, like a carbon lip option. There's actually a car in the game that gives you the option to customize both the lip, like the trunk space, and put a spoiler on top, or a wing on top. And I would really like it if you could do that, because I'd make that little lip right there carbon, and then I would add a slightly above the trunk. I wouldn't do anything too crazy, but something that kind of went with the shape of the rear end car. So something that would come out and curve further towards the front, like a wing, and it would be just a little bit above the lip. Like, it wouldn't be high up above the hood or the roof of the car. It wouldn't go higher than that. It would stay below that. But I wish I could do that, because it would really help this car, because this car is really wide and got a nice look to it, and it's really aggressive. And it'd be really cool if there was just a wing that actually really worked with it, and Rockstar didn't just throw their generic standard shit on there. There's also no wheels that just fit what this car really should be having. Like, it doesn't have the right shoes, you know what I mean? Like, there's nothing in this game that just works the way that it should, for this car. But there's a few other carbon options that I would adjust. I would do the mirrors, I would do the door handles, because the side of the car's got too much of a solid color. So I'd definitely add a carbon door handle just for that little touch of darkness down there. But other than that, yeah, this is a custom orange color that I made. And then I won this thing off the podium a while back. I've never really been a big fan of the Pariah. I hated, the fact that it was absolutely, undoubtedly based off of the Aston Martin V12 Zagato. If you look at that side profile, go search up a Zagato, and I mean, you're gonna look at that and be like, well, shit, that's exactly what that is. But the Pariah tries to claim itself as a Jaguar, and it's just too much. Like, the headlights and everything like that, it's just not. This car should have been something different. But yeah, that's I mean, it still looks good. This is a custom yellow, custom carbon fiber. I like the way the carbon goes with the yellow. Carbon bits on there, some nice wheels. But anyways, though, that is everything for this video. I just wanted to share some stuff with you guys. Thank you guys for watching. I'm gonna go ahead and cut it off here. Yeah.